Today we're going to look at Texas Instruments tools that you can use for your project, and also we're going to look at Google Sheets. So two different things you can use potentially to do some or part of your project. If you'll go to education.ti.com, on this site there is a place for you to get some free software for your laptop or desktop. Now this is not something that will work on your phone, but there are apps on your phone that you can get, which is the TI graphing calculator, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. So if you'll go to education.ti.com and click on the COVID-19 support, there is a link in here that says select software for students. If you'll click on this, then there is a way for you to get the TI Smart View emulator software for the TI-84 Plus graphing calculator. And so this calculator basically is a computer version of the calculators that we use in our classroom. You can use this to capture screenshots. You can type in there just like you would a regular calculator. So you could create your graphs in the calculator. You can create your labels. You can plot points using just all the different features we've used all year. So feel free to use that. If you've not downloaded it yet, they will ask you for an email address to get this software. But you will get free 6-month subscription, so you'll not only be able to use it for now, but all through the summer and into the fall for your classes. So I would encourage you to check that out. And I'll show you mine. This is the same calculator that we used when I did the calculator workshop. So let me show you that now. When you open your calculator emulator software, it's going to look something like this. They will have you fill out some things, your email address and so forth, to register your software. But once you're in, it works just like a graphic calculator. So on the left side are all your keystrokes, and the right side would be your screen. There's different views. This is the normal way that it opens, but if you click down here on the far left corner, you can change your view to have your calculator be on the left or the right. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it the way that it is. If you want to type in, let's say you want to type in a trigonometry equation like sine, you could put sine of x. Now the calculator is automatically in radians, so if you want to be in degrees, you'll click on the mode button, and then you will switch this into the degree mode. And then if you want to change your window, you can. So let's say we want to go from negative 360 degrees to 360 degrees. And we're going to count by, I don't know, let's count by pi. So I'm going to say second pi. Let's see, pi is over here. It's the up arrow. Now when you click off of that, it's going to change it to a decimal. That's okay. We want our y min to be negative 1. I'll just do negative 1.5. And our y max is positive 1. I'll just do 1.5. That'll give me a little space in there. And the scale can be 1, so that should be fine. Now when I hit graph, I should see this function, and there it is. Now my scale on my x-axis is really not good. So maybe I don't want to count by pi's. That's right, we don't want pi's. We're doing degrees. So I'm going to change my x scale to something bigger. If we're counting to 360, maybe we should count by 45s. That would be like halfway through each quadrant of the unit circle. Let's see what that looks like. That looks better. Alright, so this is a good looking graph. Now you can add labels. You could also just screen capture this and then add your own labels using some other tool, and they probably would look better, I'll just tell you, but there is a way to turn on labels. Second zoom. You can turn on grid lines. You can change the color. You can turn your labels on. So I'm going to turn the labels on. Let's arrow down here and arrow right. Press enter to turn on my labels, and then hit graph. So there you have it. But see where they put the X? It should be up here. And this Y, it should be here. So that's why I don't normally use my labels, just so you know. So I'm going to turn this back off. You can add your own labels using a graphics tool that will look much, much better. All right, but that's how you can use your graphing calculator to produce graphs. Of course, you can capture any screen on your graph. So if you're capturing a screen, you'll look up here and see where it says camera. So it'll say take emulator screen capture. And there it is. And if you don't like that screen, try this. Maybe I want to go to y equals and I want to capture that screen. It'll capture that screen. Now notice it put the little black dot. So what I do is I just keep hitting screen capture till it's off because it's flashing and it won't show. Or you can move your cursor down to Y2 so that it's not in the way and getting on top of your equation. You can even look at your window and show that. You could go to your table and show that. So I could copy that. I mean, really, I can copy anything I want. I can go to my home screen and type something and copy that. So whatever picture you want to take off your calculator, you could use this little camera right here to capture it. So let me capture this. Now it's producing all these little screen captures. So if I want to, I can just copy one. And you can right-click copy, or you can use this little guy up here and copy, and then you can paste that into your document. So if you have pictures that you created with this software, it's real easy to place those into your project. So I would encourage you to consider that. If you're going to add labels, though, you could take this picture and drop it into a Google Drawing to create labels, or drop it into some other software to create those labels. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is Google Sheets. So go to sheets.google.com. And this is basically just software that lets you create a spreadsheet. What's great about Google Sheets is that you can cut and paste out of Google Sheets into other things and keep the functionality of the sheets within your whatever you cut and pasted. So let's say you want to make one of those lovely boxes that we use to multiply polynomials. I'm just going to come over here and pick some squares. I'm going to do 3 by 3, and I'm going to say these 3. And then I'm going to color it up. So let's say these 4 right here are going to be my box. So I'm going to fill this box with some kind of color. Maybe make that blue. And then I want to put the grid lines in there too. So let's do that. Go to the grid lines and add some grid lines to your box. And then maybe I want to stretch that out a little bit, so you can stretch it out. Maybe I want to pull this in a little bit, so I can pull it in. Pull this in, I should say. I should have done it that way. All right, and then I'm going to copy the boxes on the top and the side, and I'm going to basically Control-C if you have a desktop, and you'll use other tools if you're on some kind of other device, but you can copy your selection once you select it under Edit. So you can copy it here if you don't have a keyboard to work with. All right, then when you go into your document, so I'm just going to open a doc.google.com. So when I open my document, I can just paste into the document the little portion of the spreadsheet that I snipped out. And so this works for anything. Anything you put in a spreadsheet, maybe even if it's text, you can tell it to link to the spreadsheet or paste unlinked. I'm just going to leave it linked to the spreadsheet. And then I can type in here using my equation editor. So I can do edit. I can type in here using my equatio. So whatever you want to type in. So if you're trying to create one of those boxes, this is a real easy way to do it. And you can format this. So let's say you want to center your text, or you want to, align your text. So when you do this, you can, type on this, right click and go down to table properties. And then you can have the cell vertical alignment to be in the middle. You can change the background color. You can change the heights and the rows and the alignment. I think I'd rather have table alignment center. See, and it pushes it out to the middle of my page. So there's lots of tools in there that you can use. So I encourage you, if you need to make your box and you can't quite figure out a way to do it, this is a real easy way to create your own. So try this new tool. So to summarize, the 3 tools that we looked at today were the Texas Instruments software that can be used on a desktop or a laptop, and that is TI SmartView for the graphing calculator. Then we looked at the Emulator software that can be used on a desktop or a laptop, and that is TI SmartView for the graphing calculator. Then we looked at the Emulator software that can be used on a desktop or a laptop, and that is TI SmartView for the graphing calculator. Then we looked at the spreadsheet, and we learned how to type something into a spreadsheet and copy and paste that into a Google document. So I encourage you to try both. Finally, if you don't have a desktop or a laptop and cannot use that, I would also suggest you go to your graphing calculator, go to your phone and go to your app store and see if you can find an emulator for the graphing calculator. There are really good ones out there, ones that look exactly like the TI-84 graphing calculator. And in those, you can capture a screenshot of what you've graphed and you can paste that into your project as well. So that is a great option if you're working only on a phone or a tablet. I would encourage you to use there are a vast number of resources for graphing calculators in your phone and in your tablet. So try it today. And this is the last in the series of videos for the resources for your project. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask.